I may have found the world record for the shortest amount of time it's taken a man to cheat. On Saturday, I met this guy at the bar and he was really cute and I was about to leave with my friends, so I just got his information, and that whole weekend we started texting. He lives in Manchester, so he was only in New York City for a few days, but he texted me that they ended up extending their flight an extra day. So we thought it would be a fun idea to go on a double date with them. So reminder, I sent photos of my friends to him for his friend, the one friend that he was with. This is a very important detail. We ended up not actually doing the double date and just had them meet us at our local bar that we always go to watch the championship game. So it was like me and two of my friends, and we were all just kind of like kikiing when they got there. It was just like fun, normal vibes. We were like having fun, like we went in the photo booth, we were all just like talking, hanging out for a while. When the game ended, we were still having a good time, so we decided to go to like another bar around the corner, and so we went there. It was me, my two friends, and then him and his friend, and it was honestly like awesome vibes. Like we were getting rounds of drinks, we were just like all sitting next to each other, and then while I was talking to him, one of his friends started talking to my friend, and they were hitting it off, like they were definitely flirting, and they ended up going home together. So while all this is happening, I'm still with the guy that I was talking to, and I end up getting a call from my friend, and I'm like, oh, I should probably answer this because we were just with her. She ends up telling us, like, obviously they went home together, and then he left kind of in a hurry. So the guy that I was talking to was immediately like, oh my God, it's crazy that he went home with her. Like, he fully has a girlfriend. Now I'm like, oh my God, like, what do you mean he has a girlfriend? He's been flirting with her all night. Like, this is so fucking weird. Like, what do you mean he has a girlfriend? So he was like, my friend's definitely freaking out. Like, we need to call him. And I was like, your friend's freaking out? Like, what do you mean? So we call the friend, and like classic, he is freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh. Remember, he was supposed to come on a double date with us. Like, he had fully looked up photos of my friends before coming on the double date. Like, I'm just confused why you were planning on going on a date with someone and you fully actively have a girlfriend. Are you ready for the kicker of the story? Guess how long this man has been dating his girlfriend? 6 days. Not 6 months, not 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days he has been dating this girl. In fact, he actually started dating her the day he left for New York City and returns to Manchester the following day. So like, why we couldn't just wait an extra day to go home to see the girlfriend, I don't know. The following day, my friend is like freaking out because she feels so bad, and she gets a DM from the man. He DM'd her asking how her exam that day went, and then also was like, oh, by the way, I don't know why my friend told you I had a girlfriend. He made a joke the other day that I had a girlfriend because I went on a date 6 days ago, but I promise you I don't have a girlfriend. And then my guy simultaneously messaged me and was like, sorry, I totally got the information wrong. Like, he doesn't actually have a girlfriend. So the stories definitely did not align with each other. My friend's guy actually unfollowed her and removed her as a follower. So like, I think he was worried that we were going to find said girlfriend and message her. And like, had we had more information on this girl or on this guy, we obviously would have done something. Yeah, that was just a really crazy situation. Obviously my friend and I did not know that this man had a girlfriend. He was supposed to come on a double date with us, so like really confused how men's brains work in that way. Like, genuinely, it's so crazy to me. But I finished my makeup. It is time for me to go meet my friends. I love you guys so much. Bye.
I paid for me and a guy's first date the other night, so let's get into the story. It was our first date. We were meeting for a drink at a bar, casual. I got there first. When I ordered my drink, the waitress needed a card to start the tab. So I gave her mine. He wasn't there yet. He shows up, he orders a beer. We have 2 drinks each. It was fine. Like, I don't think I would have seen him again. I maybe would have given him a second date if this whole fiasco hadn't happened, but when it was time for the bill, the waitress came back over and was like, okay, like, are you ready? Should I charge the card that I have on file, or do you want to put it on another one? And I look at this man. I'm like, okay, this is your chance. Like, you know, you obviously haven't touched your wallet. You know it has to be my card because you didn't put down a card at the beginning. He doesn't say anything. This man's not moving towards his wallet. He's not like, oh, even if we were going to split the bill, he needed to be like actively reaching for his wallet. But no. So the waitress is just standing there waiting for an answer. And so I'm like, all right, this guy's obviously not going to do anything. I look at her, I go, sure, yeah, charge the card. This guy looks at me, he goes, you sure? I was like, no, I'm not sure. But I'm not going to make this poor waitress so uncomfortable by being like, yeah, should we just split the bill? Should you pick up the bill? I don't know. You're the guy. Maybe that's not a thing anymore, but to me, I just feel like the guy gets the first date.
Because I told her the story and she was just like, Emily, you need to like make a video about this because it seems like not real. And I was just like, honestly, yeah. You know how you have two different types of friends you like grow up with, but friends that make in your adult life and don't know like certain stories. So horrible Hinge dating stories. 2 years ago, I was on Hinge. I had matched with this guy. Literally the same day that I matched with him, he wanted to meet with me. It was my mom's birthday. I lived maybe like 30 minutes down south of where I live now. This guy lived all the way up north. For him to get to my house was like an hour drive. I made it a rule. I'm gonna meet a guy, I'm gonna take my own car because I do not trust anybody. If I want to leave, I can just leave. For whatever reason, this guy was like super adamant on picking me up. Although he lived so far, that should have been my fucking first red flag. I don't know, I wasn't fucking thinking. Like, okay, cool, like whatever. Like, let me be spontaneous and like let this guy pick me up. FaceTime one of my best friends, another guy best friend at the time. Took a shot with them like on the phone. Picks me up. We go to a bar in downtown Miami. The vibes are good until we get to the bar. It's obviously packed, like it's Miami. He was saving me a seat. Then a guy sat in that seat when I like went to the bathroom. And I come back out, he's like almost gonna punch the guy and they're like in an argument. And I'm like, whoa, let's relax. It's just a seat. I'll be okay. We're drinking and I was like, okay, maybe it was just like protective or whatever. And then I asked him finally take me home. I was kind of in and out of it in the car. I live here, my mom lives here, he lives over here. Not that close, but that's like the path. We're passing my mom's house and I'm confused because shouldn't we be going that way? Asked him, I'm just like, why are we going up north? My house is down that way. Shows me his gun in the fucking glove compartment. Like, I'm not taking you home right now. And gagged. Like, I just did not want to die. My best friend that I FaceTimed, he lived in Tallahassee. Other guy best friend had a girl over. I just didn't want to like bother anyone. Also, it was like 2 a.m. I was just trying not to piss this guy off because I don't know what the fuck he was capable of. Makes me change into a big t-shirt of his. I come outside of the bathroom, is literally fully nude with like his to his stomach. He fell asleep and I was like, oh my god, like I don't know, I had like a fucking code, like a loud ass code. I wanted to like leave the apartment. And in hindsight, I probably should have just called my parents. It's embarrassing, first of all, that I'm on a dating app. My mom's birthday, they were out. I don't know what I was thinking. Next morning, he wakes up. Like, my phone literally has 10%. 10%. Leaving, and I was still in his shirt. You need to change. Like, you need to put your clothes on. And I'm like, okay. It's me, my clothes. He peed on my clothes. He urinated on my clothes. I peed on it. But you're gonna put it on. He's like, no, you're gonna change outside. Like, in his apartment complex, in front of everybody. He had the gun in holster pocket, like, whatever. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching this, because I never told you this story before. Staying in pink, I really like it. I don't think it makes a difference. Starts taking me home. At this point, I'm like at 7 or 6% or something. I'm texting my guy best friend. I know that he's at work. I'm like, I'm fucking terrified. This guy has a gun. Like, he's taking me home now, so it's okay. When I sent that text message, call him A for now. So A calls me. He sees this, makes a U-turn, goes back to his apartment. He's just like, oh, you want to be texting other guys in my car? Like, you can find a ride home. I was living by myself, really, really horrible with my money. I had literally like $2 in my account. I have money for Uber or anything. He just dropped me off and then he like left. God bless this man, although we don't speak anymore. He left work, came and picked me up. He had put a towel in his car, had the windows down because I literally smelled like pee. Took me to like my favorite sushi place. We got sushi and he took me home. Never again will I ever go on a Hinge date. Let a man pick me up. Like, this is only one story because I have a lot. But I'm just so grateful because I know a lot horror dating stories of the girls that don't make it out alive. But I don't know if I should do more of these. Okay, she did something this time. First video I ever make. Like me sitting down and talking to the camera. Thanks for watching.
Serving shift from hell. You're 18. Prior to your shift, you're having a really good day. You go out with your friend, you get lunch, you go shopping. It's a great day. Then you get Starbucks before your shift. Pretty good. You go in for your shift. It's pretty slow. You're the only carry out. There's 2 servers. One of them gets off at like 7 or 8. The other one closes with you. Pretty good. About 30 minutes into this shift, the new server, who's supposed to get off early, just a little bit early because we close at 9, says, does it usually get busy on Saturday nights? You guys don't really think anything of it. You say, sometimes it can, also not really. Depends. Another 30 minutes later, she goes and says that she thinks she has a stomach bug and that she doesn't feel good and she wants to go home. She leaves at 5:30, or I should say she clocks out at 5:30. She doesn't end up leaving until 6:30. She's just sitting in a table or in a booth waiting for her ride, doing nothing. She doesn't look like she's sick. After she clocks out, the other server gets extremely busy. Your carryout is also extremely busy. You're trying to help do stuff with tables while also doing your carryout. You have to start taking tables. You have to put people on a wait. Your manager yells at you that you have to go on a wait. Your manager also yells at you when you seat the server because she has too many tables. She had 5 at one time. After the server who left early left at 6:30, when she was supposed to probably be getting off, but instead she just sat in a booth and did nothing, you guys get even more busy. Extremely busy. Your grill cook starts screaming at you. He is a 30-year-old man, and you are 18, and he is yelling at you and the 19-year-old server, screaming at the top of his lungs, cussing you out, until the point of the other server is crying, sobbing, because she has, at this point, over 10 tables, is extremely busy, and now getting yelled and cussed at by a grown man. You're about to cry. The other server goes out for a little break, about 5 minutes. She comes back. When she was gone, the manager was talking shit about her the entire time. You start taking tables. You get really busy. You're gonna cry. Everybody is getting yelled at. The manager is shit-talking you and the other server in the back to the dish tank. The other server gets so overwhelmed, she walks out and leaves. You now have to close carryout and serving by yourself and take tables. And sweep and mop floors, vacuum, clean all tables, get rid of everything in the salad case, do butter, do banana bread, do bathrooms, clean everything, stock everything, do drink stations, everything. The grill cook is laughing at the fact that you are sobbing. You are sobbing so bad that your manager starts yelling at you and says that you're just a dramatic little girl. Your manager is a woman. You go to the dish tank. He gives you a hug and says, call our GM. You go to the bathroom and call the GM. He doesn't care. You then text him, and now he cares because he realizes that the other manager let the first server leave early when she shouldn't have. The manager on duty, the woman, says that the other server is now going to be fired. The other server is not going to be fired. Thank God. The other manager on duty says, why would you call our GM? And starts yelling at you. Then you get more upset, realizing that you have to do everything by yourself. You start doing everything by yourself. The grill cook is still laughing at you. While everything gets done, your manager says, do you really think I would let you do this all by yourself? You then do everything by yourself. The tables are worried because you are obviously upset and have been crying. They give you some tips and say, just breathe, you're doing great. Once everything starts closing down and it gets a little closer to when you close at 9, you get everything done slowly. Your manager is still talking shit about the other server. You're texting the other server the entire time, telling her what's going on. She's not getting fired. You finish closing server and carryout and doing anything else the manager needs. The manager gives you a big hug and says, see, I don't know why you were so dramatic and crying. You did great. You work at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, serving with people who are rude and awful to you. You then get in your car. Your feet hurt so bad because you have been wearing the same work shoes that you've had since you were 14 that have holes in the soles of them. And on top of that, your mom, when you got home, your mom made pork chops with the bone in that are dry.
Buckle your seats, besties, because I have another one of my horrible first date Hinge story times. Occurred on an actual first date. Like, this is a first impression, first date story time. Let's talk about, we'll call him Paul, okay? Paul and I matched on Hinge, and we had a lot in common. He checked off a couple of boxes. So we went to the same school for undergrad. His family grew up in Southwest Florida. He grew up in Southwest Florida, and then we both went to University of Florida for undergrad. So we had stuff in common. We were supposed to actually go and meet up at a sports bar to watch a University of Florida, I think it was a basketball game. Must have been basketball or football. I can't remember. Anyways, I met him in his turf, right, in his neighborhood. So I'm not familiar with the area. Anyways, we go to the sports bar. We were gonna grab drinks and bites, but this place was slammed, packed to the brim of people, right? So he was like, oh, it's a little noisy in here. There's a lot going on. Why don't we just go to the restaurant next door? Okay. Mind you, I'm dressed for sports bar energy, right? So it's pretty casual for a first date, but I prefer that. And he's like, why don't we just go to the restaurant next door? Sure, yeah, fine. We walk in and it's fine dining, okay? There's fucking tablecloths. The service staff are wearing essentially business casual, and I just wasn't prepared for that, but we gotta fly by the seat of our pants, whatever. So we go to sit down,
and the server like gets our drink order, and then she walks away and he empties his pockets, and he like literally takes out a nicotine pen out of one pocket and a weed pen in the other, and he puts them next to his like table setting. And he's like, oh, my bad, like, do you want to hit? And I'm like, no, thank you, I'm okay, but thanks so much. So he's like sneaking puffs, like alternating puffs between the two, like all throughout dinner. And I'm not one to like shame anybody for how they like to have a good time by any means whatsoever, but like read the room, I guess. Also, like, most like indoor establishments don't allow the use of vapes, so it was just like not ideal. Anyways, fine, we won't even call that a strike, okay? It's like half a strike. We're like getting the conversation going, and I actually really appreciate it when a man is a yapper. Like, I find it so refreshing when you're giving me golden retriever. I serve black cat very well, so I love that. Like, I'm a little more reserved, and I like to like, but when it comes to like first dates, I hate being the one that like has to carry the conversation or like carry the date, right? So it's really refreshing when a man is able to like chit chat, right? So we're like chatting it up, and I don't know how the conversation got here, but he asked me, he was like, oh yeah, like, what are some of your like red flags? Like, what are some of your excuse me, non-negotiables in a man? And this is how I know that the bar is set in hell. Because you want to know what I said? Of all things I could have said, I said, yeah, I mean, bad hygiene's a big one, and it is. Why is this a non-negotiable? I don't even know why it even makes it on the list, but I said, yeah, like, bad hygiene. Like, I don't want to have to like remind you to brush your teeth or like shower every day, you know? And he goes, oh yeah, you don't have to worry about that with me. I take 3 baths a day. Like, what? He goes, yeah, like, don't even worry about it. I take 3 baths a day. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't really, like, I'm not one, again, to shame. I'm so not, like, I am so chill, you guys. Like, I am the least judgmental person in the world, genuinely. I'm like, okay, like, live your life. I'm more of a shower girly, you know, I don't really want to sit in my own filth, but like, live your life. If you love a bath time routine, I love that for you. Who am I to judge how you decompress? But 3 times a day, mind you, this man works remote for, I guess, like some like orthopedic something or other, and does a lot of like marketing, etc. I don't fucking know. Anyways, he works remote, so he takes 3 baths a day. And then, would you believe what this man followed up with that statement? And I don't even know if I could say this on TikTok, so I'm gonna like use code. He goes, yeah, I crank my hog 3 times a day and I finish it with a bath. Yeah, that's what he said. I just got my entree plate, and now I'm thinking about you finagling and fadoodling yourself 3 times a day while you're logged into Teams. Great. Awesome. I should have left in that moment, but I'm like, you know, maybe he's nervous. Maybe he's just hitting that weed pen a little too much. Like, the drinks are flowing. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's nervous, but it gets objectively worse. He brings up the fact that he's like into older women. I don't really remember exactly like the segue into that. Mind you, I'm just a year older than him at the time, and I was like, okay, like, you do realize like I'm only a year older than you, right? And he goes, oh yeah, but like, don't even worry. Yeah, no, I know. He goes, my last girlfriend, mind you, he's 28 at this time, I'm 29, scratch that, I'm 28 at this time, because this is like over 2 years ago, It doesn't matter. Anyways, he goes, yeah, my last girlfriend was 45 and I was 28 at the time, or 27. It doesn't matter. Anyways, there's like almost like a 10 to 12 year age gap between him and his last girlfriend. And he goes, yeah, but like she looked really great for her age. First of all, number one, how dare you? 41, 42, 43 is not that old for a woman. How dare you say that she looked great for her age? I hate that. I hate everything about that. Proceeds to go in his phone, in his camera roll, and show me a selfie of him and his 40-something-year-old ex-girlfriend. He goes, see? See, doesn't she look great? Why the fuck are you showing me a picture of you and your ex-girlfriend? Why are you and your ex-girlfriend still in your camera roll, buddy? And why am I here? So we wrap up the date, and at this point I'm like, I'm never gonna see this man again. Like, this is so disturbing. Mind you, let me just delete Hinge right now. Actually, I did delete Hinge after that date, and that was the only Hinge date that I went on when I first moved down here, and it was so traumatizing that I deleted the app. But we wrap up dinner, and he goes, you know, a lady should never be seen walking to her car by herself, which is objectively true. He holds my hand, and he starts swinging my hand. And we'll call him Paul, right? He goes, Paul and Pammy, Pammy and Paul, swinging my hand as he's walking me to my car. I thank him so much for dinner. I give him a little hug. Obviously, I'm not going to kiss this boy. Ew. And I made a promise to myself that I would never see him again. However, there is a part 2. So if you're invested in the Paul saga, like for a part 2, it's kind of nuts.
Hey guys, story time on how I got caught at school. Also, if my hair looks really greasy, it's because I put like a hair growth serum on it, so please don't mind that. Okay, so I have to give you guys like some background info first. Okay, so basically at my school you're not allowed to be in the same stall as your friends, and they have like these posters up like saying that you can't be in the same stall as your friend. But at the beginning of the year I didn't really pay attention to that. I was kind of just like, I didn't really think that they checked the bathrooms, so I thought I was just chilling. So like me and my friends, like we would go in the same stall pretty often, like basically every day, and like nothing ever happened. So like that's why I didn't think like, you know, they checked the bathrooms. But okay, there was this one time where it's not the time where like I filmed that video where I got like actually searched. This was a different time. Me and my friend were like caught being in the same stall, and then they took us to the office, but we didn't get in trouble, and we also didn't get searched. So it was kind of like a warning, like they just told us like that's not allowed, and that if it happens again, like we will get searched. So like after that, like I didn't go in the same stall as my friends for a while. I would say like 2 weeks, because you know I always like bring stuff to school. So like I was scared. I didn't want to be searched. So okay, so like we didn't go in the same stall for like 2 weeks, but then this one time my friend, she was skipping in the bathroom, and I had gotten a pass to go to the library, and I asked Miss Teacher what it was for, and she didn't know what it was for. So when I went to the library, like it was like just a quick thing. They just like asked me something. So since my teacher didn't know how long it was gonna take, I was just like walking around it. So then I went to the bathroom, and then I saw my friend. So we go in the same stall, but like it's because we thought we were gonna be quick, like we were just gonna be there for like 5 minutes, and it was just gonna be quick, you know. But then after like 5 minutes, we hear girls come out of the bathroom. So that's when we knew we were cooked. I had stuff on me. She had stuff on her. Like we were just cooked. So they separated us, and obviously she gets searched first. And I need to clarify some things. I only had one like thing. I had the green UT, and then my friend, she had the 2 other UTs and the 2 other boutiques. But only one of the UTs and one of the boutiques was hers, and then the other 2, they were her friends that she was keeping for her. So only one of them was mine. So then she gets searched, and then like everything was in her backpack, so obviously they find it. She was like bawling her eyes out, and then she got suspended because she's been caught with stuff before, and that was like my first time getting caught, so I didn't get suspended. But when it was my turn, they made a guy go get my backpack from my class, and they didn't find anything in my backpack, but then they pulled out a metal detector, and then it was on me, like it was on my bra, and then
Sorry. Okay, and then obviously it went off, and then they like made me call my mom. So my mom, she wasn't really mad. She was just like disappointed in me because I've been caught before, and I had told her I quit. And obviously I didn't. But since it was like my first time getting caught, I didn't really get like I got those like nicotine drug abuse classes, like where they like basically tell you like why it's so bad for you, and I didn't go to that. So my punishment for not going to that was lunch detention for a week, which I also didn't do. So basically I didn't really have a punishment, but yeah, like now I don't bring my stuff to school. Like I don't bring my stuff to school anymore, and also I don't go in the same stall as my friends anymore because, you know, I can't get caught again. But yeah, it's basically a story time. At home, I didn't really get any like punishment. Like my parents, like my mom just had to talk with me, and then yeah. But besides that, I didn't really get a punishment. My friend, she was grounded for like a week, and oh, also I have to clarify another thing. The jar, guys, the jar wasn't mine. The reason why I filmed the jar first was because when the metal detector went off and they made me like take my stuff out of my bra, they put it like where like the first desk that I showed where the jar was, so I thought it was still there. So that's why I recorded it first, because I thought that's where mine was. But it wasn't, and that's why I filmed the other one, because that's where they put it, but I didn't realize they had put it there. So I know you guys thought it was like heat or like butter, I heard some people were saying, but it wasn't. I think it was just like some like, it was like it was just like a smoothie, I think, like a healthy one. And it was like, because it was like this like girl's office who I don't like. And I also got in trouble for taking that video, and they made me delete it, but I deleted it on my Snap memories and I kept it on my camera roll, but then I got yelled at. And then she wanted me to go back to class when I was literally bawling my eyes out. She still wanted me to go back to class, so then I just called my dad and asked him if I could go home, and then he let me go home. But yeah, so that's the story time you guys have been asking for. And sorry I took too long. I was like with my friends, so I was pretty busy because my spring break was this week. Okay, so bye guys.
Most embarrassing shit I have ever done was fake a pregnancy, and I've talked about it before, but I did not emphasize just how bad and humiliating that entire situation was. When I was 14, I was seeing the 16-year-old, and he was very nonchalant, to the point it was infuriating. He did not answer the phone, blah, blah, he was just chill. And in my head, the reality was that me and him were together, and he owed me all of his undevoted time and loyalty, and that's not the reality at all. That was just what my head was telling me, because I was insane. Point is, I could start feeling a drift between us, and I didn't understand why. Maybe it was because you were overbearing and fucking insane. I don't know. Best guess off the top of my head, of course. So I decided, let me just tell him I'm pregnant. This is a foolproof plan. This is 100% gonna work. I told him I was pregnant, and he's freaking out. I didn't understand why, because he's thinking his life is over because you're crazy enough to keep it. So I knew I wasn't pregnant, obviously. So I went and got a pregnancy test that I did not pay for. I absolutely stole it because I was broke at that time. I knew it was going to be negative, but I was really hoping for a positive, which is sick in the fucking head. I took a picture of the pregnancy test because there was a line there because it was negative. And I went on Facetune and I edited it. And when I say these lines were so close together, like they were up each other's ass. It looked like one fat ass line instead of two lines. I confidently sent this motherfucker a picture. And this went on for about a month or so, okay? I think within the first couple of days, he didn't know if I was lying or not, but like after that, he 100% knew I was lying, and he was just kind of keeping it going. Like a full 2-hour-long discussion about what I was gonna do, and this motherfucker's like, abort it. I'm like, no, why would I do that? You fucking idiot. You idiot. Within the next month, I get a text at like 3 a.m. He's like, hey, can we talk? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, what do you think we are? And I'm like, more than friends, hopefully. I just said, well, we're just friends, duh. I was hoping like this is where he's gonna propose to me and confess his love to me and tell me just like how much he wants to be with me. No, it wasn't actually. He was like, we need to stop talking. I think at this point, he knew I was lying. I think he knew, and he never said it. He never specifically said, I know you're lying. Like, he never called me out for it, because he was never mean. He was never an asshole. I think he knew I was suffering a little bit in the head. I think he was trying to spare me. I don't know, but he never directly called me out for it. So much so that I thought he full-heartedly still believed me, and I'm like, how could you cut me off? I'm pregnant. He ends up blocking my number, of course. So I start spam calling him off of no caller IDs and decline, not answering. One of the calls, a girl answered, which, by the way, is his girlfriend. She answered. She's like, stop fucking calling him. And I'm, like, trying to fight this girl. Like, I'm, like, ready to fight her over my man. Like, babe, stop. And because that wasn't bad enough, I texted his mother on Facebook within the next couple of days to tell her, your son got me pregnant, and I'm keeping this baby. So, apparently, she ended up finding my mom's Facebook or my mom's number. I don't know how. My mom comes into my room. She's like, hey, honey, we have to talk. Are you pregnant? I'm like, no. And she's like, well, like, there's, like, you know, people are saying that you're pregnant. So are you pregnant? And I'm like, I don't even know how that rumor got started. I don't know who would say such things about me. I'm not pregnant at all. That's, like, not even the worst part, right? That's not even the worst part. So because I was suffering a lot mentally, I had run away from home for no reason. I just ran away because... So I went to my friend's house. My friend, who was friends with that boy who I was accusing of pregnancy, and he came over with his girlfriend, and then there was another friend there. So there's me, my friend, another random-ass friend, the boy, and the girl. And this is probably, like, the worst part that's, like, actually making my heart race, because I had to make it worse. Like, I had to make it fucking worse. We're, like, all there, whatever. He ends up going into the bathroom, out in the hallway to, you know, urinate, whatever men do in the bathroom. I go out in the hall. I'm like, hey, we need to talk. And mind you, like, please keep in mind, like, the hall is, like, right outside of my friend's room, so they can, like, all hear me. And I said, I'm still pregnant, because it wasn't bad enough. You had to make it fucking worse. What were you thinking? Point is, very humiliating, very embarrassing. I definitely lost a lot of credibility after that. However, what I will say is I would never do something like that now, and that is what untreated mental health looks like, and that's not to excuse it. And if you're ever going to use your mental health as reasoning, please make sure that you have healed. Please make sure you have done the work, because if you haven't, and you're not trying to get better, and you're not better, or at least close to being better, it's just going to sound like an excuse. However, my mental health did, in fact, cause that, and I've put in a lot of work to stable out up in the old head.
Ago when I was on the apps, I matched with this guy, and we had a very brief conversation, and he said, hey, so do you just want to, like, meet tomorrow if you're free, and we can see if we get along? And I was like, I mean, that's pretty quick. You haven't really asked me much. And he said, yeah, well, I get a good feeling, and, like, I think you're pretty. Let's just meet. And I said, okay, I'll do that. But first, I just want to make sure that you've looked at my profile and you've looked at all my pictures, because I had very accurate pictures on there. And I had close-ups, I had full body pictures, and I just wanted to make sure we were, like, on the same page, you know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, I've seen them all, I think you're pretty. And I said, okay, did you also see in my bio that I'm not looking for a hookup, like I'm actually looking to date someone? And he goes, yeah, of course, me too. So we set a date. It's a coffee date. We go, we meet at the coffee shop, get a drink, sit down. I'm talking, we've been there 5 minutes. He just starts staring at me. And I break the silence, and then he's just really quiet, like, the whole time. And then he starts looking around the room, and I'm like, okay. And so, he's not saying anything at all. I think he said maybe, like, one word. And so I said, oh, okay, are you gonna, like, is there anything you want to know about me? Are you gonna talk or anything? And he goes, no, probably not. I said, okay. Do you just want to leave, and then I can stay and finish my coffee? And he goes, without saying a word, he just went, and then he got up in complete silence and walked away and left, and I finished my coffee. And I think about that. What was he on about? He knew what I looked like. had the opportunity to ask me as many questions as he wanted before we met, and he knew I wasn't looking to hook up. The coffee was great though, so that's a win. And it was close to my house, so it's not like I was put out. So that was a win. All right.
Let's get ready to go confront my roommate who is ghosting our lease at her job. So I know where my roommate happens to work, and it just so happens to be down the street from where I am supposed to be meeting one of my friends who is visiting from LA for TwitchCon this weekend. So if you're new here, you might want to go back and watch the first videos explaining the situation, but basically my roommate is ghosting our lease, and I have not seen or heard from her in months. And since she hasn't been home and hasn't been replying to any of my text messages or my other roommate's text messages, this is kind of the only other option I have, is to see if I can find her at work and talk to her to see what on earth is going on. She works at a restaurant downtown as a hostess, I think, or like server, and I'm just gonna stop by there before I meet up with my friend, see if she's there and see if we can talk. And obviously I really hope that she's there so that we can have a little chat and figure out, you know, why she's been ignoring me, why she hasn't paid rent in 2 months, almost 3 months. Because I'm tired of paying rent for her. That's like a lot of blush. I'm also hoping that if we get to talk, that I'll be able to convince her to just like sign herself off of the lease so that I can find someone and get someone in the apartment who can actually pay rent. Because at the end of the day, that's what I care about right now. I know that, you know, she probably has her own stuff going on, but she hasn't been staying at the apartment at all. So she has somewhere else that she's obviously living. Why do you need to be on this lease? So best case scenario is I see her, we talk, we come to an agreement, get her off the lease, or at least figure out a plan so that I can get someone in that room paying rent so that I don't have to pay rent, and kind of go from there. Worst case scenario, it causes a scene. I don't know. I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that. But that is my plan, and I will obviously keep everybody updated on how it goes. And hopefully we can get this resolved peacefully and not have to drag this out any longer than it already has been. I am a little nervous because I don't love confrontation, but this is like one of those situations that obviously requires some form of confrontation. And I've tried everything else. So this is kind of my like last ditch effort to find her and figure out why she's ghosting this lease. I did let my friend know that I would be making a little bit of an Unhinged pit stop before meeting up with him and his brother for drinks, because I think the drinks should definitely come after the confrontation, not before. It's in everybody's best interest. And like, I do know that this is kind of crazy, but this is kind of what happens when you do crazy things. You make people do crazy things. I obviously don't want this to like negatively affect her in her workplace, but I also need answers because this has been very negatively affecting my life, and I at least deserve to know what's going on and have hopefully a solution to all of this by the end of this confrontation. Regardless, no matter which way this whole confrontation thing goes, at least I have something fun to do afterwards. We're gonna go to dinner and with like a big group of friends, and then maybe out. I don't understand, like I don't really know what TwitchCon is. I'm not like that flavor of nerd, but I'm excited to like hang out and see the characters downtown, I feel like it's kind of going to be maybe a little bit like Comic-Con, but just a different kind of vibe maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to finish my like eye makeup not on camera because this is a little bit tricky, but I'll show you the final look. And then if you guys want to see my outfit, I'll show you that too. My let's go confront my roommate outfit and then go out with the, I think Twitch, is that like video game streaming? Is this video game nerds? So the eye makeup is done. I think actually we need a lip combo, obviously. No, I don't want this one. Please hold. Yes. Okay. So we'll do lip combo. This isn't like the sharpest pencil ever, but yeah, we're going to a nice restaurant I'm excited about. I picked the restaurant because I am the only one who lives here. Everyone else is from out of town, so they obviously asked me to be captain of restaurants, which I love, because that means that I know it's gonna be good. Gloss, obviously, and now I just need to get dressed and I'll show you the outfit. Okay, so this is the final look. Oh yeah, the springs are really important. Did I pick these shoes because I'm going to confront someone? Mind your business. I think my roommate is ghosting our lease. Yep, you heard that right. My roommate is ghosting our lease. So let's talk about it. So my roommate, let's call her Elle, was 2 months behind on rent last month, which unfortunately was not a new thing with her. But at some point, our leasing office had basically told her as long as the majority of rent was paid on time, they wouldn't actually take any action to file to evict us. Well, she heard that and took full advantage of it. And so last month, they finally said, you know what, enough is enough. You've abused this for way too long, and you need to pay your rent on time. So they filed to evict us. So I found out that they had filed to evict us at the beginning of July when I tried to pay my rent on time like a normal person, and I couldn't. So to say that I was pissed would be an understatement. Obviously, the very first thing that I do as soon as I find out this information is call and text Elle to find out what's going on, because I am not about to get kicked out of my home that I have lived in for 6 years because this girl can't pay her rent on time. And to my surprise, she actually replies pretty quickly, letting me know that she has the money and she can pay everything that she owes for the 2 months of rent. So I let her know that she has to send all of that to me so I can make one lump payment, because when they file to evict you, they won't accept multiple payments. It has to be done all at once. And so she sends me the money, I get everything paid, so we are good for at least another month. And just to be clear, I have told her multiple times that she needs to pay her rent on time. And every single time that I've brought this up to her, she comes up with some sad sob story like, oh, my family's just going through a hard time right now, and I'm trying to I'm trying to just get back to normal. I'm like doing my best, whatever. And I believed her because she's been spending a lot of time at her sister's. She had at least always paid rent at some point, so she was doing something to get the money. I don't know what, but this was kind of like the last straw for me. So once she's paid and everything's good for July, I once again text her, spelling out very clearly that she needs to pay her rent on time. This isn't acceptable. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to our other roommate. And it's basic common courtesy to at least pay rent on, like, bare minimum for roommates is paying your rent on time, or at least communicating if you're not going to be able to pay your rent on time, so that we can like figure something out before it gets to the leasing office trying to evict us. And instead of apologizing or even giving me another sad sob story about how her sister's going through whatever blah blah bullshit, I hear nothing. Radio silence. So this is where the ghosting begins. My roommate is ghosting our lease. So if you haven't watched the first video, go back and watch that to catch yourself up. But The name is in the title. My roommate's ghosting our lease. Now, keep in mind that at this point, Elle has paid rent through July. So I'm a little bit more relaxed, but the fact that she hasn't said anything to me is concerning. So I'm already starting to think, what kind of backup plan do I need to have in case this happens again? Because obviously our leasing office is over it and they're not going to accept her paying rent late anymore. So the month of July comes, goes, and you guessed it, I have not heard from her at all. August 1st rolls around, and guess who hasn't paid rent? Yeah, you guessed again. Elle has not paid her rent. Shocker. So once again, I am texting Elle, trying to get a hold of her, figure out if she's planning on paying rent, if she has a plan, and she is obviously not responding. And I'm at this point running point on the leasing office, trying to make sure that they don't file to evict us, buying us more time to get her to pay her portion of rent on time. I am just trying my very best to avoid having to pay rent on her behalf, because the last thing that I want is her owing me the money. I want her to pay the rent directly to the leasing office. That's how we've always done it. And I don't want her owing me money, because that's going to be even more difficult to collect. Because, by the way, she also owes me for over a year of utilities that she has not paid. She owes me like $2,000 for 2 years, basically, of utilities. So she already owes me money. I don't want her to owe me more money. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, Courtney, why didn't you just talk to her when she got home? Well, I would have loved to, but she never came home. I have not seen or heard from her in over a month at this point. So what am I supposed to do? So now we're getting into some like dicey territory in terms of whether or not our leasing office is going to try to file to evict us again. And they're texting her, they're texting me, they're texting Katie, basically saying, hey, you need to pay rent by this date, otherwise we're going to file to evict you. And while she is ignoring me, Elle decides to text Katie to ask her what these texts from the leasing office saying they're going to file to evict us mean. So yes, she is alive and well. She is perfectly capable of texting. Her number hasn't changed. Nothing's actually wrong with her. She's just ignoring me. Because I know some of you are probably thinking, oh no, what if something horrible happened to her? I hope she's okay. Do not feel sorry for this girl. She was posting on Instagram the entire time that she was ignoring me and not paying rent. Another really important piece of information to know about this whole situation is that all three of us are on this lease. And if you know anything about contracts, this makes things a little bit more complicated, because if we want to add someone, remove someone, anything, all three of us need to sign the amendment to that lease. So anyone saying, oh, just kick her out, I would love to kick her out. But she has to agree. She has to sign herself off of the lease. And given the fact that she has been ignoring me and has had every opportunity to come to me and say, hey, this isn't working out, I need you to find someone to fill my room, something tells me she's not going to sign herself off of this lease. Okay, so this is getting super long. I'm going to make a part 3.
I'm tired of people treating me differently just because because I'm so pretty and funny and smart. It's like, I was born this way.
My roommate is ghosting our lease. Like, are you joking? So in my last video, I mentioned that I was trying to come up with a backup plan in case this happened again, which obviously this is happening again, and I wanted to be prepared because a Girl Scout is always prepared. And I posted her room for rent online in July, like a week after I had texted her and she didn't respond. So yeah, and obviously I know this is something that takes time, which is why I wanted to post it like in advance. I just, you know, when you have a gut feeling about something, and my gut is literally always right. So I just knew this was going to be a problem, and I wanted to get ahead of it. Unfortunately, I haven't found anyone to take her room yet because it's the middle of summer in San Diego and everyone's traveling. And the people who aren't traveling, they're subletting the apartments from people who are traveling. Like, it's not a lot of people looking for long-term leases in the summer. It's usually a very short-term, which is fine, but I also need someone like ASAP Rocky for like long-term. And this is not my first rodeo. I've had to find new roommates before. Usually, in every other case, it has been a very normal situation where someone was moving out. They told me they were moving out, and I had plenty of time to like get the ball rolling on finding someone to fill their room. In this situation, it's a little trickier because obviously, like, she hasn't said anything to me, but she's literally not paying rent. So I need to do something. And this is obviously taking longer than I would have liked. So I do have to pay rent on her behalf for August and September, it's looking like, because otherwise they're gonna evict us. And that's not in the realm of things that are allowed to happen for me. So I'm gonna make it work. Hopefully I can find someone. I'll keep you guys updated on like how that goes and trying to get her to sign herself off of the lease goes. I hope she sees the light and just like agrees and makes it easy, because I like really truly don't know what else I can possibly do if she's just like pretending that she's like, because I think that's what she's doing. Like, I truly believe she's trying to convince me, whoever, that she's just not around anymore. She like blocked me from her Instagram stories. She had been posting on Instagram like the dumbest stuff every single day this entire like almost 2 months. And now when I go to her page, like there's no highlights or anything, so I'm pretty sure she blocked me to hold up the act of like she's I don't know, unalived. Like, what? I know you're alive and well. Your phone works. All of my texts are going through. My calls go through. Like, this girl is so dumb. Truly, truly, I don't understand what, like, your end game is here. 'Cause, sorry for just, like, going off on a tangent, but, like, really, this is so mind-boggling to me. Like, you've abandoned your stuff. You obviously don't have money, so you kind of need your stuff. Because you can't replace it with no money unless you're stealing, which, and also, like, where are you staying? Like, are you staying at your sister's house? Your sister who has a husband and 2 newborn children, and also 2, like, basically adult children? I don't know what, like, what are you doing? What? Anyway, I will keep you all updated on like how this progresses, because this is obviously this is a series now, and you're coming along for the ride. I hope you're really excited, because yeah, my pain can be your entertainment, hopefully. And maybe it'll also like help someone else who maybe has gone through something similar or is going through. I really hope that no one's going through this, because it's a pain. And it's like, if I were in a different financial situation than I'm currently in, this would be really, really awful and stressful. It's already awful and stressful. It would be so much worse if I like were in a different, like, that's what really irritates me. And also, like, how do you not care about anyone, including yourself? Like, that's so... Because if we get evicted, you get evicted. That's how that works. There's no, like, oh, like, I wasn't there, so you can't evict. You're on the lease, bitch. You stupid fucking bitch. Oh my god, I literally want to punch her in the face. I would love to. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a fighter. I know these nails are like deceptive, but I don't know how to fight. That's why I have these. Because no one is gonna mess with you when you can literally claw their eyes out. So yeah.
Is this weird? I don't know what it is about me, but if I find a hair in my food, just You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just hair. Like, it's not. But if it's curly.
My roommate is ghosting our lease. Yeah. Her room is listed. We're trying to find someone to fill her room as soon as possible. That's going to take however long it takes. And in the meantime, I do have to pay August rent for her because we're almost at September. And we'll probably have to pay for September on her behalf as well, just because I don't see us finding someone in the next week to move in. And hopefully that process goes smoothly, because as soon as we find someone, we're going to obviously have to ask her to sign herself off of the lease so that we can sign this new person on. And I don't know how that's gonna go, considering she hasn't responded to any of our texts, mine, Katie's, or the leasing office. Literally, like, nobody is getting any responses from her. So I also 1000% am going to be suing her for the amount of money that she owes me. Once this is all said and done, once we have someone in her room paying rent, and I know, like, the total amount that she is going to owe me, that I've had to pay for her on her behalf, I will be filing a small claims case. And I'll take you guys along for that too, because that's going to be so fun. We can go through the process together. I thought my first lawsuit would be more exciting than this, but here we are. Like, she owes me over $5,000, I think now. Once I pay her rent for September, it will definitely be over $5,000. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have cared about the $2,000 for utilities. Like, would it be annoying? Yeah, but I would have probably just let it go because it's not worth it. $5,000 is worth taking someone to court over, in my opinion. It's gonna be small claims, so it's not like I have to hire a lawyer and pay, like, legal fees. And at the end of the day, it really is the principle of it all. Like, does she owe me money, and do I want that back? Yeah, obviously. But you also can't just run around treating people like this and expect to not face the consequences of your actions. You certainly can't run around treating me like this and expect to get away with it. No. So yeah, I mean, justice will be served, and I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride. So exciting stuff to come. She owes me money and I want it.